Can you give us a short history or background about Holly Dawn?
Basically, Holly Dawn has two aspects of design. So there's the HDH Design Studio, so that composes of the interior design services, and we also have the Holly Dawn Home Interior Design and Accessories. Businesses are under one umbrella. A little short history about it is the design studio came about from starting 2012, so a long time ago. I was doing design with a previous company that we called Chrome. Now we have emerged. I have kind of like created it to become a different version of that and a better version of the design studio as I continue to understand how to create design and do the business better. Um, the Holy Dawn Home Accessory Studio came about because it was just a passion project. I wanted to be able to bring things and create like my own accessory line and just have the opportunity to create and have like items to sell for the homes or the places or people here in Cebu to have access to. So that's really a little short background and history of Holly Dawn. I think it just came about for the love of design.
What made you decide to start your own business?
Think it it's always been ingrained in me since I was a child. I think growing up, our family, we've always been business people, so I
Mm-mm.
grew up learning how to do business all the time. The creative part came as a second aspect for me. um,
Okay.
I started to do interior design because I saw the opportunity to be able to use what I learned in school to bring here to Cebu City. I think that was something that I really wanted to share
Mm,
with
okay.
to everybody and to be able to also of course have growth
Mm-mm.
for myself.
Do you have any experiences before starting your own businesses?
Well, experience in business, I used to growing up used to be helping our family business. It's not exactly in design, but I've always been very entrepreneurial. I think it started with even selling small little business, like little small, how do you say that, like small businesses, like on the
Business.
side, or yeah, like I was also helping out with a flower shop that my family had, and also like our restaurants. So I think in terms of business, especially with our actual core business, which is completely different from design, I was very exposed to it. And I think for me, like I said, my own has always been, like, I guess it's always been in the back of my mind that I would not be working for someone. It was just I would be the one making my business to grow it.
As
What
a
are your
business owner, what
top
are your
three
top three
priorities?
priorities?
That's an interesting question because I mean every business person's gonna have a different answer to that. I think for me specifically, my priorities would be, one would be growth, two, revenue. Of course, I think any business you would need to see your business grow in terms of not just scale but in terms of um, you know the amount you're earning. You'll be able to return your investment. And I think the third priority would be team retention. I think being able to keep your employees and the people who are in your business, keep them motivated, satisfied, and be with you for long term.
For the next question, what is the concept behind Holly Dawn?
So, like I mentioned a while ago, there's two aspects of Holy Dawn. So, Holy Dawn, there's Holy Dawn Home and Holy Dawn HDH Design Studio. So, the concept behind it is really it's basically like a design hub, and I wanted to create something that allows all creatives or creatives to be able, or non-creatives even, to be able to come together, to be able to use the space, to be to use the environment to have design, at the same time be inspired by design, and at the same time, like, if you're not really that creative, ask us, and we're open to sharing with you guys design as well. So the concept was just one, as the design aspect for accessories, it was really being able to bring things from out of the country, and me curating the objects, allowing myself to bring it here and then selling it to the locals, because not everybody could travel, not everybody could get what's the new trends out there now, or like, in the market. So I wanted the HDH, the Holly Dawn home accessory studio, to just be an accessible space with curated designs and things that I really personally loved, and something that reflects my like personality, something that I really like to share with people. And of course, and the design studio, which is the HDH design studio, is just like an extension to the accessory studio, Morang, and kind of just join together as one eventually. So yeah, that was the concept behind it. Really, just something about me and my love for bringing things to Cebu, the place that I also love.
Did you make or find your own brand in the field of design, especially here in the Philippines?
I think for me, um, I really just how do you say it? Like, how did I find my own brand? I think I was just going with passion, and my desire. I think, it was a passion project at first. So I had the idea of just basically create a vision to reflect myself. At one point, I wanted to create things that didn't have to please my clients, because I think in the early age stages of design, like, it was always designing for what they wanted, the clients wanted. And then eventually I decided to come up with something that I wanted to do. Clients then they can just pick from what I already have, versus me having to still cater to what they want at the moment. So I think that was that was the inspiration. um yeah, I think I just wanted to put out who I really was, and I put it in my Holly Dawn home line.
For the next question, Miss, what are the mission and vision for the company?
Basically, so if you go to our website, and you can visit that at hollydawnhomedesigns.com. The design firm, I talk about this to a lot of people, because there's a lot of designers in Cebu. There's a lot of designers all over the world, and design, there's every person is unique, and I think the important aspect that we really cater with in the studio is we really focus our designs based on energy. Energy is a really big thing in terms of how we design, and I know a lot of people always say, are you a designer that designs through aesthetic, or are you a designer that does functionality? I try to really cater that between both of them, of course, but at the same time, really makes us unique as a firm is that we really focus on designing spaces through energy, and like focusing on clients and how they're going to use the space for user experience. So our vision and mission for the company is, I'm just going to read to you guys briefly because I have it on me here. So basically, our style is basically we create quality interior design solutions that push existing creative standards by delivering designs that best suit who you are. I think that's something that we really like to focus on. Like I said, going back to energy, it suits depending on who you are as a person. And our approach is that we as a team, we are like a combination of dynamic collaborators. So we're not like an individual designer, we're a design team. So we also consist of young creative minds, and I think it's really important because it then ensures best design solutions for the space that we're creating. So that's exactly what we do.
Next question. What was your biggest business mistake or challenge, and how did you learn from it?
The business challenge, mistakes and challenges. I think every day, you know, we we go through challenges every day, even if you've been through it all already. There's always going to be a challenge in your business. I think the biggest thing that I learned was I started off the business very blindly. Like, it was really sink or swim for me. I was put in an ocean and didn't know what was happening. I was a little bit overwhelmed. I was still young, so I didn't really know much about the business or the industry. I didn't do much research. I just kind of blindly went into it. So I think that was the biggest challenge. I wouldn't say it's a mistake because I don't believe in mistakes. I believe that we um, learn from every opportunity that is given in front of us. Nothing is ever a mistake. I think it's more of a challenge that we all go through. So yeah, I definitely learned from
Mm.
that, and I think there was a lot of challenges, but we learned how to eventually get through it.
Uh,
Time you took a big risk, and did it succeed?
Yes, because like I said a while ago, sorry, I'm just charging my phone. Yeah, in terms of big risk, I think it's, just taking the leap at 21 years old to open, or 22, to open a design firm. I think that was the most challenging because you're fresh out of college, you don't really know anything about design, but of course you know that you have the passion, you have the drive to do that. So for me, obviously, it was a big risk to do that at an early age, and I think just getting through it and really keeping a thick face and just getting by with it was a very it's a risk that I took, and at the same time you have to take risks. I mean, not everything is going to be successful. Obviously the company, I reshuffled the company after a while, and then I had to take a step back. I did my masters in the middle of that also. So I think for me that was also a risk because I had to invest. Sorry, this isn't charging. But I had to also invest in continuing education. So I think continuing education was a part of my journey that I had to risk and to be able to move forward with building more or a better business and better strategies.
for the next question, Miss, what was your weakness in running a business and how did you develop it?
I think my weakness was, I mean, I guess I don't really call it too much of a weakness, but of course, at the same time, like everything's learning experience. I think that's what we're all gonna go through in life. But if there's something that I did, or I would like to change the way I did things before, it's probably just really immerse myself in like learning more into other, like probably diving into other design businesses or learning to work with other design companies before I started my own business. I think that was something that I would have liked to do. And also at the same time, at an early age, one of my weaknesses was I was still very young, so my priorities were different. Like I just wanted to party. I just wanted to do other things, so the business was kind of like just there, but it wasn't exactly my priority. So obviously at an early age, I like to do it, but eventually as you grow older, you're also starting to realize the priorities and where you're heading towards, your goals, your ambition, and the dreams that you want for yourself and the business, of course. So again, it's like a learning curve. You still kind of develop it slowly, and then you start to realize like what's important to you and what's not.
How do you market your company, and which tactics have been most successful?
I'm not very big on like marketing the company, which I probably should be, like any other company, any other business. If you talk to business owners, obviously marketing is a very large tactic to help grow your business. But I think a big part right now, especially during the pandemic, that we're not being able to meet clients or meet people along the way. So I think a big chunk of it is really word of mouth. And I was just speaking to some people today, learning to get respect also from your colleagues and your friends, to be able to trust you, be able to do their homes, and of course to trust you enough that your company is stable and sustainable, and to be able to um, create designs for you. I think that's really important, for every company. And of course, another tactic would be right now, especially social media. So I think it's a very big marketing tool that's very accessible for everyone. For me, I think it's the easiest, the cheapest way to actually get your designs out there. It's also an easy way to reach out to different generations, different viewers, whatever it is, whatever platform it is, whether it's Instagram, Facebook. I'm also slowly starting to put things up on YouTube, starting to put like small videos just to get people inspired and to kind of find out a little bit more about your company.
Thank you, Miss. For the next question, do you always set high expectations or do you tolerate mediocrity?
No, I'm a big fan of no expectations. So I'm that kind of person, like, because I don't like to get disappointed. The more I expect, there's always going to be disappointment. But in terms of setting high expectations, in terms of like achievements or design, I think, of course, for me, like, I put high standards. I don't think I would say expectations, because expectations would be different. But in terms of standards, I do have high standards. But yeah, I mean, I don't tolerate, like, I don't know if the word mediocrity is a good way to put it, but um, if it's in terms of design, yeah, I don't tolerate low quality, let's say. But
Mhm.
um, high expectations, yeah, like I said, I don't really like to expect things because I live on a daily, and I just know that I have certain ways of doing things, and it just needs to reach that certain level. If not, then yeah, obviously I don't tolerate that.
How do you generate new ideas in every project?
I try to get inspired. I think that's something that was a little bit of a struggle this year, especially with the pandemic. Keep inspired, trying to be creative, but I also did to find ways to help myself do that. Whether it's from just walking outside or cooking, starting a new lesson. I started, getting inspired by playing new sports. I I think, I get new ideas based on, I work a lot with feelings, so I really need to be in a good state of mind to be able to be inspired to attract the right projects and to attract the best design and to create the best solution for you or the client. And I think for me, my biggest statement that I always live by is, basically creating design has to be coming from you being the best version of yourself. So I always make sure that the ideas that come about are because I'm in my true genuine state, and everything else is positive and the energy is really good around the office. So that's how ideas really come about.
For the next question, Miss, what areas of your work are you hoping to explore further?
I think right now I'm at a good place in terms of where the office is at, where the business is at. Of course, I think I would just like to think about expansion also. I think that's an important aspect in every business, because you don't also want to be stagnant. Everything's a challenge. Everything is, you know, stagnancy or a challenge that you almost want to give up. But I think I would say I would hope for expansion and explore further, we've launched our e-design for the HDH Design Studio. So we're working with international clients, not physically working with them because of the the whole pandemic thing, and it actually is working for us. And I think for me, that's an area of the design field that I'd like to explore, being able to cater to clients and letting them being more a little bit hands on, but us providing them all of the details for them to make their designs come to life without having to spend an arm and a leg.
How do you measure the success of your design?
So when your client's happy, I find that that's a successful design, and you know it because they're genuinely grateful, they're genuinely happy. The energy of the space is happy, and you feel it, and I think for me, like, measuring like success is not generally like the amount of people you have in your office or how much money you're making at the end of the day. For us, it's really about building a good relationship with our clients and also really getting good feedback. Yeah, basically just feeling really good about what we've created and making it come to life.
Miss, for our last question, what piece of
Mm-hmm.
advice would you give to the fresh graduates who want to become a successful interior designer and entrepreneur like you?
Think about it twice. I'm just kidding. um, I like to joke around because you have to live a happy. You need to really learn and love what you do, because like I said, this isn't an easy industry, and I always tell my interns this, I always tell my guys this. I was like, you can't create these designs, you can't come up with them, and have it implemented if you're not exactly happy with what you're doing. So I would really give you advice on saying focus on something, know what you really want to know what you want to do. If you excel in drafting, focus on that. If you excel in 3D modeling, focus on that. But if you really want to become a full-time interior designer, I would recommend that you get a little bit of experience and get to really know the market and the people and the suppliers, the clients, because no, not so much the clients but the suppliers, and really engage yourself with them, because I think one of the biggest part for me is you have to really have a thick face in this industry. And I think also at the end of the day, you guys need to learn how to be strong and really um yourself, because you don't want to get beaten up by people, and especially with this industry. I mean, when I started as a female, people in the site, they never really listened to me because I'm just a girl and I was young. So I think for those people who want to start a business like design or interior design, I think first of all, you need to really how learn to see if this is really something that you want to be doing for the future, because designing and owning a business are two different aspects. So you have to understand that, because when you own a business, you're going to have to give up one thing. You're not going to be able to design 24/7. So you're going to have to learn how to manage business, because you're going to have to learn how to pay your employees. You're going to have to learn how to manage your time. So it's not complete owning a design firm is not completely just glamorous. Even being an interior designer is not completely glamorous, and I think you all know that. So that's why I'm saying we need to learn how to work as a team, vision for yourself, that the future of your business really grows.
Okay, Miss. Thank you so
Thank you,
much for lending
Miss.
your time to this
Yeah,
interview.
absolutely. I hope you guys get
Hopefully, we
inspired
can
to be.
change, Miss. Hopefully, in the future, we can also
Yeah,
be like you.
as long as you desire it and as long as you know what you want, you will have it. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. Because never give up on something, because if you're not happy with what you're doing, it's really okay to drop whatever you want to do. You don't need to put that in your recording, but I'm letting you know. But I'm saying, in the end of the day, if you're not happy with it, don't do it, because it's not worth it.
Thank you so much, Miss, for your time.
Thanks also, guys. I hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you.
to be a successful interior designer and entrepreneur the future, you have to follow what you really want. And if you don't, if you're not happy with what you're doing, you should drop it. Na,
Learn. I love what she said that in order to find your sole purpose in this business, I guess that we should be able to identify our role in the design business before if you want to be to have a skill in drafting, or if you want to pursue in 3D modeling, because at first in the first years of serving as interior designer, I guess we would not be able to accommodate all aspects because we're still starting, and it may not be we may not accommodate it all at once. And I hope that in the future that we can also be as successful as she is now. What about you, Mia? What are your insights or learnings?
what I learned from what Miss Halidon talked about is that we really need to love what we are doing and follow what we really want. If we are happy with it, then if not, we should drop it because in the long run, if we will continue what we don't really like, I don't know if it will be successful or I don't know.